الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفر ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدًا عبده ورسوله. قال الله تبارك وتعالى: ما أصابك من حسنة فمن الله وما أصابك من سيئة فمن نفسك. وقال تعالى: يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور. وقال النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم: اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس، شبابك قبل هرمك، وصحتك قبل سقمك، وغناك قبل فقرك، وفراغك قبل شغلك، وحياتك قبل موتك، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. My dear respected brothers, elders and sisters, today we remind ourselves of one of the greatest of ni'mas, one of the greatest of blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He has given us after giving us iman, after giving us faith, and that is of good health. And usually when we think about good health, we think about the physical health only. Most of the time people think of physical health. But health is especially psychological. There's mental health, there's spiritual health, there's emotional health, and there's social health. Inshallah, in the next khutbah that I'll be giving on the 11th of the next month, I'll discuss foods to eat, to not eat, the diet of the Prophet ﷺ, and along with that a review of a book that is similarly, that is related to the subject. So the Prophet ﷺ said, take advantage of your health before your sickness, right? And so for today I wanted to just compare a little bit of what a psychologically healthy person is, what they look like compared to someone who is not healthy. And the only intention behind that is to cause awareness. To cause awareness so that we may we may enhance our psychological health, and that we may get better. And there's always room for improvement. So first and foremost, what do the experts say? Psychologically healthy person compared to one who is not. The healthy one is the one who easily adapts to change, has a realistic sense of self, and has a healthy skill to be able to cope with things, open-minded, has a zest for life, spiritually, intellectually thriving person. This is a sign of a good, psychologically healthy person. What does an unhealthy person look like? It's a challenge to be around. Sometimes it's very difficult to communicate with that person. That person becomes socially isolated, pessimistic, spiritually down, usually down and tired. This is a little bit of the difference. So we go into a little bit more detail, and we look at this part of health, which is mental health, right? And that refers to the thinking, the behavioral rationale of a person. Now this comes with a lot of stigmas as well, right? Comes with a lot of stigmas. Those people who have mental health are dangerous. They're irresponsible. They just need to get over it. You know, in our communities, sometimes they're given even worse stigmas, as in they're possessed. They need to go to an exorcist. Something happened to them. Now, the thing is, it cannot be that a person is blamed for a sickness that they have, and that all of these things are joint with them, all of these things are related to them. That is not correct. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in every 4 people in some part of their life will have some type of mental illness at some stage of their lives. 1 out of every 4. So imagine how common it is. And so this is why it's very important to take this very seriously and not to think of it as just anything, right? A mentally healthy person perceives life in realistic ways, can adapt to change, can develop rational strategies to solve certain problems in their lives. They strive for continuous growth for themselves and others as well. Right? It's also referred to as intellectual health. So this is a sign of a mentally well person. And otherwise, this can cause many problems if a person is not mentally well. Especially if it starts as something that doesn't seem so serious, but it continues to grow and grow, then just like a person has a small wound, they might think of it as nothing. And sooner or later what happens? Becomes infected. And then that grows and it grows, and if it's not taken care of, it can become detrimental to the health. It can become very serious. Similarly are these issues when it comes to the psychological health. If the mental health is not checked, it can become very problematic. It could even become life-threatening. So it's important to get help. Alhamdulillah, the masjid is now providing those professionals that deal with mental health. Alhamdulillah, they're also Muslim as well. So this is a great resource that we have and that we should take advantage of, especially if we know someone in the family that is suffering, that is going through any type of mental health, whether it's depression, whether it's anything of that sort. There is so much to talk about in this subject. Alhamdulillah, many of the Islamic centers and places nowadays are getting that training. Many of the imams are getting this training, and it's been happening for a couple of years now. So to get professional help is important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who have knowledge, especially of this profession, if you do not know. To get that help is an important aspect. And it is very important to do something about it so that it can get better. And it has happened. Many have, thousands of people have gotten help, and mashallah have been, have changed their lives. And like the Prophet ﷺ said, for every sickness, there is a cure. The one who sent down the sickness has sent the cure. So it takes courage, it takes resolve to be able to go and to get that help. And so don't wait for that. The next part is the emotional health, which refers to a person's feelings, is the subjective side of psychological health. If this part of the health is not checked, I believe it's one of the most overlooked parts of health, the emotional health, well-being of a person. If this part is not checked, then it can become an underlying issue of many of the addictions and substance abuse issues that we see today. This becomes the underlying cause when you look at it. Sometimes people cannot turn to any other way, right? So a healthy, emotionally healthy person usually responds to in an appropriate way to difficult situations, upsetting events. Rather than to use extreme fashion, they cope with these things in a normal, in a correct, proper way. They can express their feelings, they can communicate with others, and they can cope with these things in this manner. And emotionally unhealthy people, they unfortunately will not be able to express themselves. They will hide their issues. They will use extreme ways and offensive ways to cope with emotional issues, to the point where many will try to numb out those feelings. And that is why you see drugs, alcohol abuse, addictions that are on the rise, because people are trying to numb out these issues. Some people will eat just an insane amount extra because they're actually suffering an emotional issue. And so this has to be checked. It cannot be ignored. You see today a great percent of college students especially, the reason for substance abuse many a times is just to cope with the stress, with situations that are overwhelming at this time. But this is not the way to cope with it, right? And so this emotional health needs to be checked as well. That is also to go to professionals. That is also to communicate, to share your feelings, to be able to use your family and social, surroundings and those resources in a healthy manner, right? Sometimes the phone can become a numbing device. It can become something where you just zone out. You just come out of reality because you can't face reality. I mentioned that last time in the virtues of Jum'ah, that the phone is mentioned by some psychologists as an adult pacifier because it basically soothes people. When they're not feeling well, they just go on it and they zone out for a while and they can't see what's happening, and that's it. It becomes a means to soothe them. So if you're not able to listen to an entire khutbah without going on your phone, then that's an issue. That's not a spiritual issue alone, it's a health issue. We need to be able to listen. That's very, very important, to be able to listen. It's part of this, part of the coping and part of the strategy to become healthy emotionally, to be able to listen. And the next part of health also is it's similar, that the social health of a person, which includes interactions with others, individually or on a group basis, being able to get support in times of need, being able to express yourself. Socially healthy people, they express themselves, they use the ability to use resources around them. They have a wide range of family and friends that can support them, and they take their support. They're able to communicate with them. So these issues, these health issues need to be addressed. And especially when it comes time to marriage. You see, when pre-marriage counseling takes place, one of the most important issues that is discussed is communication, conflict resolution. Whatever religion you look at, this is one of the most important points. There are certain imams that will go on for 5 hours, have different sessions just on this one point, communicating, to be able to express your feelings to your own family, to your spouse. If you're not able to communicate, you're not able to express your feelings, this will bring a lot, the result of this is just tension, unnecessary issues and problems. So be able to resolve conflicts, giving attention to one another. Today it's difficult for many people to even speak to one another face to face, without having a phone in between, without giving the full attention and eyesight. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would speak to the people, he would face them directly, entirely. He wouldn't look around. He wouldn't be half in one way and half in the other way, or look towards the side. But directly he would be looking at the person and give his full attention and respect. And this is the way you're able to listen and express yourself. And it's very important to be speaking. The family needs to be speaking to one another. The children need to be speaking with one another. If not, if there's isolation, this brings about problems. There's a doctor, Kevin Skinner, who has a book called Treating Addiction, Certain Addictions. He says that mental social isolation can reduce a person's mental health. Sociologists mention that there was a critical number of social contacts a person needed to be able, every week, to be able to stay sane. He speculated that unless a person speaks to at least 7 familiar people throughout the week, then this person has a chance of mental illness. That is how important it is to be able to speak to people, especially those who are close to you, to be able to connect to them. If you cannot connect, if you cannot go to someone, if you need a coping mechanism through social media, through a substance, then this is only going to grow and this will only cause problems. So respected brothers and sisters, these, according to the professionals, are some of the health issues. There's a lot more to discuss. It's an entire subject. But some of these things are overlooked. Some of these health issues are overlooked. Most of the time, it's only about the physical health. A person has a physical issue, they check that. But people don't look at these issues as often. And they don't look at them as the cause, main cause of other symptoms. So what do the professionals say as far as strategies to enhance the psychological health? What can we do to enhance, to become better? Number 1, develop a support system. Family, friends, right? Having good company makes the world of a difference. Sometimes you're feeling ill, physically ill, emotionally drained, and by speaking to someone you're close to, by hearing a few good words, or being able to express yourselves makes you feel better. Many of you must have experienced this, just by speaking, or it could be by listening. The next thing is to form realistic expectations and goals. Having unrealistic expectations of life and the goals that you have can cause stress, can cause some of these health issues as well. To be able to take things slowly, make small goals, because small changes will equal big changes in the long run. Doing things that are easy for a person to do. And the next thing is to make time for yourself. Allow time for self-change and self-betterment, for yourself to grow. We have to have that time for ourselves every single day, at least a little bit of that time. Whether it's to grow spiritually, physically, mentally, in whichever capacity that we can do it. We need to give that time. And then of course something that we'll continue with in the next khutbah, which is regular exercise. Exercise which can, take care of a lot of health issues that are going on today. Right? Regularly exercising, the diet, being able to walk on a daily basis, sports. We should have a lot more sports here, especially in the masjid. Whatever we can, outside in the courtyard of the masjid, we have so many things we can set up. We need to do that. Why don't we have a masjid team yet? People talk about it, people get excited, but at the end of the day, it's like, oh, nobody showed up. If we can get motivated for that, imagine how many people can benefit from regular exercise, and it's easy to do it in groups. When you have one person, it's not that easy. When you have friends to remind you, to help you, it's a lot easier. You try to go to the gym by yourself, and you go with someone else or a few people, it's a whole different story. You get benefit, you get motivation, you get that want to continue, because you have other people around you that can motivate you, that can push you. So it's very important to be able to exercise, and of course without a diet, right? What good is exercise? What can you do? And like I said, inshallah, in the next khutbah we'll be discussing this. But one of the worst things to do is to eat and to sit, or to eat and to lay down. One of the worst things for a person's health that a person can do. Sedentary lifestyle, which is a cause for so many diseases, which are because of lifestyle. Not only because of the biology or hereditary, but lifestyle. So regular exercise, cannot stress enough. The sunnah, Rasulullah ﷺ stressed, he encouraged swimming, horseback riding. He himself ran with his family, with his wives. He ran. Rasulullah ﷺ in his 50s, I would say, not an understatement, would be more fit than many people in their 20s and 30s today. How fit he was because of his lifestyle. Not only because he was just Prophet of Allah, but his diet, his sleeping, his all of these other psychological health, and his exercise, all of this contributed to him being a perfect example. It wasn't just like that. If you have been to Saudi Arabia, you go to Hira, climb that mountain to go up to Hira. And this was, we all went as a class, and some of us are panting, some of us are staying there sitting, like people in the, teenagers and young 20s, and they're taking breaks every few minutes, and we're looking at them, and then we think the Prophet ﷺ would go up on a daily basis. He would go up and come down. Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, al-Mu'mineen, would go up and she would come down. On a regular basis, as if just going up a hill. And let's try to do that and see. Compare their health, how their health was. Right? So physical, regular exercise is a huge way that enhances, we're not just talking about physical health, but psychological health. The physical exercise will have a huge effect. And then one of the last things they mention here, there's a lot more to say, but getting enough sleep. Enough sleep, which is problematic for many people. In many homes we see that today. People are tired in school, going to work is difficult. Even while driving, and you name it. What are the problems that are caused through not getting enough sleep? So just to go over, person's memory is affected. Cardiovascular health has everything to do with not getting enough sleep. Diabetes, depression, other mental health, weight gain, impaired judgment. You try to work out all you want, You try to lose weight. If you're not getting ample amount of sleep, if you're sleeping less than 6 hours, it's going to be very difficult. Very difficult, well nigh impossible. If you're not getting enough sleep. And the Prophet ﷺ habit, his noble habit of sleeping was that he would sleep early. After Isha, he would sleep. He would sleep. And he would wake up in the latter portion of the night. And so he would sleep early and wake up early. The best thing to do. Today you're going to find dozens of videos on the internet. I started waking up at 4:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. I found my entire life changed. Just by the sleeping cycle. This has everything to do with our health. We sleep late, you wake up late, you miss Fajr. If you miss Fajr, you stay lazy, lethargic the whole day. The knots that are tied, they're still tied. They're not untied, as the hadith mentions. That can only be untied when a person remembers Allah in the morning, makes wudu, and praises Fajr or her Fajr. So waking up early, sleeping early, trying to sleep on your right side. As you falling asleep, sleeping on your right side has a huge difference on the way you sleep as well. Dropping the social media before sleeping. Really, that light, this phone is causing problems with people to sleep. You can see the studies. So many of the college classes nowadays, I'm going to a couple of them. Some of them actually started the class by showing the kids videos. They're showing the students videos about the health effects of social media before you're going to sleep. Why? Because teacher doesn't want to see sleepy students. The teacher wants everyone to pay attention. So they actually have to show a video about this now. Imagine. So sleep, it's a natural healer and it's necessary to have for good health. It cannot be stressed enough. And to conclude this part, the Prophet ﷺ, he would also get some rest in midday. He would take an afternoon nap. That is also something important. If we are able to, our schedule can allow us, this is something very necessary. And it's found to be very helpful throughout the day. Very good for your health. If you can take even a few minutes, 15, 20 minutes, even lay down, have a short nap, makes a huge difference in the health. And it's mentioned in the hadith that not only is it healthy for you, it helps you to wake up for the tahajjud, for the qiyam prayers at night. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us good health, psychological health, and physical health, and all types of health, the best of health in this world. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant good health to our parents and those who are elderly and those who are sick. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. قال الله تبارك وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته وأصحابه أبو بكر عمر عثمان وعلي رضي الله عنهم أجمعين. Dear respected brothers and sisters, one hadith mentions that there are two things that are overlooked by the people. Two blessings that are overlooked. Most people don't seem to find them significant until they're lost in their lives, until they don't have them. نِعْمَتَانِ مَغْبُونٌ فِيهِمَا كَثِيرٌ مِّنَ النَّاسِ الصِّحَّةُ وَالْفَرَاغُ. Good health when a person has, and free time, leisure time, the time you can do many other things other than your regular schedule. Free time and good health, until people don't lose them, they don't realize its true value. As one of the imams said, one of the poets said, that good health is that crown that is on the heads of the healthy that only the sick can see. Good health is a crown on the heads of the healthy that only the sick people can see. Right? So until we don't lose that, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us in good health and not to give us any type of disease and any type of ailments. Ameen. So I wanted to conclude with one more point that is a great enhancer of the psychological health, and especially to do with the brain. In fact, it's mentioned as it is the nourishment of the brain. It is a substance, but it's one of the dearest of substances to the Prophet ﷺ in this world. One of the most dearest things in this world. What is it? It is good scent. It is al-mask. It is perfume. What does this have to do with the brain? What does this have to do with the health? It's nutrition for the brain. It causes comfort to the heart. And in the hadith, it's also mentioned that oud or Indian oud was actually used as a cure for many ailments. It helps with the stomach, with the digestion. It helps with the intestines. It helps with so many things that it actually has a huge effect on the physical person, on the physical self. And so, to try to get the best of perfumes, of scents, the hadith mentions أطيب الطيب المسك, that one of the greatest of fragrances is musk. Whether it's white musk, black musk, whatever you can get it, use it, apply it. I'm not alluding to, people need it nowadays. I'm not saying that, but we should have it. It is one of the beautiful sunnahs, and it has everything to do with our health, right? It's one of our senses. We're smelling. It's having an effect on us, so much so that angels, the malaika of rahmah, are attracted to good scents. They're attracted to people who have good scent, and other people are catching on. The oud that we see, one of the also great perfumes, the oud that comes from wood. It's being used now in all the products, whether it's Versace, whether it's Tom Ford, whether it's the most expensive perfumes, colognes you're going to see, they're putting this as the main ingredient, oud, which Rasulullah ﷺ used to apply and use and love 1400 years ago. More than so long ago. So using perfume, not only is it beautiful, it's a wonderful gift as well. He would never reject. If anybody offered him perfume, he would never refuse. He said not to ever refuse perfume. And things there are many things that we might waste money on. We might spend excessively on. But if there's one thing that you can spend more, it wouldn't be counted as wasteful, is perfume. You can use it, especially with the intention you're, to act on the sunnah and to be smelling good. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ would pass by, people knew that this is the Prophet of Allah passing. First and foremost, he himself had the greatest, fragrance from his body. But even then, he used, ambar, musk, oud. It was used, right? So it is a great gift. Give it to one another, and at the same time, it is beloved to the Prophet ﷺ, and it causes a difference in the health. And that's the main point I wanted to mention. And so and something that surprises me is people can spend, thousands of dollars on maybe devices or other things, but when it comes to perfume and oud and things like this, they spend very little. And so if you want to get something that is worth something, that is really good, as it will last and make a lasting effect wherever you go. It should be that a believer, when he passes somewhere, that people know that this person was here because of their scent. People should know because of the smell that is coming, right? It causes a good mood, and we can list the benefits, but this will suffice. That we use this as this is great for the psychological health, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us great health, psychological health, physical health. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give cure to those who are sick. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give shifa to our parents, to our grandparents, to the elders who are sick in the community, those who are sick around the world, Muslimin, Muslimat, those who are suffering from ailments. Ya Allah, you remove that from them. Ya Allah, give them shifa. Ya Allah, those who are going through any type of sickness, Ya Allah, you heal them, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And Ya Allah, grant us good health in this life and happiness in this life and the hereafter. Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن. آمين يا رب العالمين. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. أقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ختامه مسك وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون ومزاجه من تسنيم عينا يشرب بها المقربون إن الذين أجرموا كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون وإذا مروا بهم يتغامزون وإذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم انقلبوا فكهين وإذا رأوهم قالوا إن هؤلاء لضالون وما أرسلوا عليهم حافظين فاليوم الذين آمنوا من الكفار يضحكون على الأرائك ينظرون هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله اللهم صل وسلم اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Just a couple of quick reminders. First of all, tonight, right after Maghrib, we will have the family night program with the Sheikh Wissam Sharif. This is a joint program of CARE and ISCN. So please plan on attending this important event, and we will have dinner tonight together, inshallah. The other thing is we have an organization outside known as Life for Relief and Development. And I guess the brother is here somewhere. He wanted to make some announcement, but oh, he's here. Okay, so he'll talk right after I finish, inshallah. The other thing is I have a request for dua, for shifa for Tasneem Zafar, brother-in-law of Sohail Farooqi, who is very sick and in the hospital in Karachi. Please make dua for his health and speedy recovery. I mean, so also please make dua for everybody. Dua maghfirah for all of those who have passed away in the past or just recently, because we have instances I cannot name everybody. So please remember everybody who's passed away, and also make dua for all the people suffering in all the Muslim areas, including Kashmir and Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, everywhere else, so that they're suffering, inshallah. The last but not the least, we again are having problem with the parking issues. People are either double parking or taking two spaces of parking in the middle of the lines. We have lines on the parking for a reason. So cars will have enough distance and gap between cars so that people can open the doors, people can park. I understand everybody thinks that their car is the most precious in the world, and they don't want to have anybody parking next to their car. They want to take two spaces and park in the middle of two spots. That is not permitted. So please make sure that you don't park in the middle of two parking spots, and do not park inappropriately. Jazakallah, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. So yeah, I'm here with Life for Relief and Development. We've been in service for now 27 years. We're a non-profit serving in 47 countries, from Pakistan to Palestine and everywhere in between. Alhamdulillah. So we try to raise money for different projects like orphans or water wells, things of that sort. I want to take this opportunity to remind us of a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that the one who sponsors to take care of an orphan, he and I or she and I are like this in Jannah. That means eternal companionship with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for what it costs you for a tank of gas even, you know. So please come outside, take the opportunity to take advantage and bring some barakah in the life of you and your family, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.